What do recruiters look for when hiring a candidate for any position? Qualification, experience, perhaps a good reference. This is the norm. And then there is the New York Times, the newspaper that claims to seek the truth. It says so on their website, seek the truth. Right now they're seeking a correspondent in India. What is the job description? The person must be anti-establishment, anti-Modi. And this is not our interpretation. The New York Times spells this out in as many words. Let me read out the job description for you. Mr. Modi is advocating a self-sufficient muscular nationalism centered on the country's Hindu majority. That vision puts him at odds with the interfaith, multicultural goals of modern India's founders. And just in case you're wondering, I'm reading from the so-called job description of the New York Times. It's not an opinion piece, although it sounds like one. These scathing lines are designed to attract a candidate who will fill the role of a business correspondent for the New York Times, not an opinion writer, mind you, a correspondent. Slight problem. Reporting requires objectivity. What the NYT is looking for is a candidate who looks at every story through a prism of prejudice. The job description says, and I'm quoting again, under Narendra Modi, its charismatic Prime Minister, India has moved to rival China's economic and political heft in Asia, drama playing out along their tense border and within national capitals across the region. What kind of recruitment ad is this? When was the last time you saw a recruitment ad like this? At least I have never seen something like this. This edit piece/job ad was posted 4 days ago. But the NYT's anti-India bias is much older. I'll give you a sample. In March 2019, the New York Times wrote, after India loses dogfight to Pakistan, question arises about its vintage military. Absolute fiction. The fact is, India never lost a dogfight to its western neighbor. The publication talks about India's MiG-21 Bison being hit. It conveniently leaves out the fact that a Pakistani F-16 was also shot down. In March this year, a headline in the New York Times declared that India's system is broken. In May, it said India's outbreak is a danger to the world. The danger is the virus from China and its Delta variant that caused so much suffering in India. But the New York Times likes to spin stories to suit its narrative. It misses no opportunity to paint India in a bad light. In the NYT's reportage, India is defined by rapes and murders. In the NYT's India, death is the only truth. Pretty grim, isn't it? Also, pretty obviously biased. Remember a cartoon, this one, mocking India's space program. This was the New York Times' masterpiece. Clearly, they have some serious issues with India, and fair enough, every publication is entitled to its biases and opinions. But then, they should not claim to be the flag bearer of unbiased journalism. The New York Times cannot claim to seek the truth and help people understand the world while planting biased reporters in the world's biggest democracy and also writing op-eds on India's supposedly battered free press. It does not work that way, at least not in India. It may work in China. Of all the publications, the NYT should know this. It reportedly received $50,000 from China's state propaganda outlet, the China Daily, in the last 4 years. $50,000. I'm not making this up. I'm citing documents filed by China Daily with the US Justice Department. Take a look. What was this money for? Well, who knows? Perhaps pushing a certain narrative. The NYT seems to be at it even in its job ads. Well, I don't know about applicants, but the ad surely has not earned it any new readers. Over the last year, in fact, the NYT's murky journalism has also cost the paper some high-profile talent. In June last year, the NYT deplatformed its own editorial page editor, James Bennett. He met with protests inside his own newsroom for publishing an op-ed by a Republican senator. A month later, the NYT's editor and writer, Bari Weiss, resigned. She said that she was bullied and called a Nazi for her conservative views. In a resignation letter to the publisher, this is what she wrote. A new consensus has emerged in the press, but perhaps, especially at this paper, that truth isn't a process of collective discovery, but an orthodoxy already known to an enlightened few whose job is to inform everyone else. If a person's ideology is in keeping with the new orthodoxy, they and their work remain unscrutinized. Well, when you learn about its record, the job description barely comes as a surprise. As we speak, the New York Times is being slammed in India for its prejudice, bias, cancel culture and Hindu phobia. We also spoke to some of our viewers and experts from around the world, commentators, thought leaders. Listen into what they had to say.
The New York Times is transmitting to everyone that it's interested in a certain type of candidate with certain political views.
I think the New York Times has got all the sort of, obsessions about initial guilt, either by race or by nation or by history. And they say that they're very much decolonialists. But if you think they are Americans lecturing the rest of the world according to American ideas, and I think that's colonialism.
I think it's unfortunate that the Times has really transitioned from having, a traditional liberal bias, which is not unusual in the media, of course, in the mainstream and corporate media in the U.S., but they've really transitioned from a liberal bias to taking on a really activist role.
If this is actually meant to be true, the New York Times should be ashamed of itself. And I think quite a lot of Indians in America would be quite justified to go and take them to the court because it's a gross violation of human rights.
To specifically make it as a prerequisite that a professional journalist must have to be with certain ideology, that too for a news daily like New York Times, is something shows that they don't want the alternate views to be published in their organization.
You see, a publication does not need a correspondent on ground to churn out biased stories on India. They can be written from New York too, or from the Bahamas. So before bringing a reporter from New Delhi into its paybook, the NYT may want to bring some diversity, some objectivity, a slice of truth in its pages. Because while India's future may not be at a crossroads, the future of journalism surely is, and the New York Times is not helping with this stinker of a job ad. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.